Hey folks, so I'm going to do recordings of the cell structures PowerPoints for you, same as we did last time I was absent. I'm not going to be here for a block or for Friday this week, so this is how we're going to cover the 7.2 guided notes. We're going to go over all these different sections, but I'm going to divide them up into different videos. So this video is going to cover the review and the nucleus. The next video I make is going to cover the organelles that store, clean up, and support. Third video will be the building organelles. And then we're going to do the energy organelles. Finally, the last video is going to be cell boundaries. So 5 different videos so nobody suffers death by YouTube that hopefully break this up into something easier to learn, all right? But meanwhile, today, right now, video number 1, nucleus. We're going to start off with a little bit of review. Some of you have already done this in class, so feel free to fast forward. But just to go over it, the most important difference between eukaryotic and prokaryotic cells. Prokaryotic cells have no nucleus. That is their defining features. Eukaryotic cells have a nucleus. Some secondary differences: the prokaryotic cell is very small and it's simple. On the other hand, the eukaryotic cell here is very large, it's big, and it's quite complex. When we study the cell, we study eukaryotic cells. And prokaryotic would be too easy. Okay? Now that you've got that difference, let's see. Next question asks you to circle which of these contain eukaryotic cells. That's going to be the 4 kingdoms in domain eukarya. Plant kingdom, fungi kingdom, animal kingdom, which of course includes humans, we're in there, and then the kingdom nobody remembers, protist kingdom. It's the trash kingdom, the one that gets everybody that doesn't belong anywhere else. Now the 2 that remain, bacteria and archaea, you got to remember, those are the prokaryotic domains. No eukaryotic cells, no nuclei there. Okay? So that's good for review. Now let's go on to the new stuff. Cell organization begins with the nucleus. It is the boss of the cell, el jefe, because it is the control center. Nothing happens in a cell without the nucleus's knowing about it. It regulates everything, controls every action the cell takes. Okay? Most important fact about the nucleus is that it contains the rather famous molecule DNA. But that DNA is stored in kind of a unique way. It's stored as chromatin. Chromatin is a mix of DNA plus protective proteins. The nucleus has to protect the DNA because if your DNA gets altered, that's a genetic mutation. Genetic mutations lead to genetic diseases. Genetic diseases lead to death. Kind of bad. So we protect the DNA so that nobody dies. All these gray dots here, that's the chromatin, and it's all wrapped around the DNA to protect it. Speaking of protection, the second thing I want you to learn is called the nuclear envelope. It also functions as a DNA bodyguard. It protects the DNA by controlling what goes in and out of the cell. To get to the DNA, you got to go through this. The only way to get through the nuclear envelope is through these tiny openings called nuclear pores. A pore is a type of hole. In this case, these are gated or controlled holes that allow only certain things into the nucleus. Okay? You got to get past them first. Now, inside the nucleus, in addition to all that DNA, all that chromatin, there's also this dark region. It looks kind of like a nucleus inside a nucleus. You see how each of these has a dark circle in it? That dark region, that's called the nucleolus. Think of it as the nucleus inside the nucleus. It's a ball that makes ribosomes. Now, we haven't really talked about ribosomes yet, but you're going to learn ribosomes make proteins. So the nucleolus makes the things that make the proteins. Okay? Kind of important. We'll talk more about it later. All right, so on your cell book, I'm going to ask you to draw all these different organelles. Can't ask you to do something I wouldn't do. So if I want to draw a nucleus, then I'd have a nuclear envelope. Okay, nice, round. Now it has all these openings because that's the nuclear pore. That's going to allow things to come in and out. Now most important in the nuclear envelope is all this stringy stuff. That's the chromatin, which of course just means protected DNA. Oh, I forgot to label this. That's the envelope, the outer covering. And then in the heart, let's see, I need a dark ball, scribble, scribble. The nucleus inside the nucleus, the nucleolus, busy making ribosomes. So that's a drawing I'd be very happy to see inside a cell book. Doesn't have to be complicated. All right, think that finishes up first video. So I'm going to pause it and I'm going to pause this and then we're going to start the second one. Yay!